What up, this is Rama Screen covering movies, TV, and entertainment, and here's my review of NBC new limited series, The Thing About Pam. Hey, before you watch my review, please subscribe to my channel, press that like button, and ring that bell so you can get notified whenever I post new videos. And if you'd like to help support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. Let's rock this. Now, let me be clear, prior to this show, I knew nothing about the Pam Hupp case. And it seems I was alone on that, because the podcast had been downloaded over 20 million times, and the Dateline NBC segments were probably viewed by millions more. So this is not some kind of obscure story that recently surfaces. A lot of people have heard about it since the murder took place a decade ago, and after having watched this show, I finally get their fascination now. The Thing About Pam is quite possibly the quirkiest, most imaginative, most fast-paced murder mystery adaptation I've ever seen. Even if you already know the outcomes at every turn, the show gets really unconventional in visualizing every scenario and every lie that comes out of Pam's mouth. It's a clever and tricky way of steering you down one path before halfway through steering you 180 down the other path or the other direction. And multiple Oscar winner Renee Zellweger gives a deliciously devious, manipulative performance. Sure, her prosthetics are sadly not up to par. She looks like the long-lost white cousin of the Clumps family, but nevertheless, Renee holds her own really well. Based on the true 2011 murder of Betsy Faria that resulted in her husband Russ's conviction, although he insisted he didn't kill her, he was later exonerated. This brutal crime set off a chain of events that would expose a diabolical scheme deeply involving Pam Hupp. A thorough examination of the scheme was featured on several episodes of Dateline NBC, becoming one of the most popular topics to ever air on the hit franchise. It also became the subject of a popular 2019 podcast, starring Renee Zellweger, Josh Duhamel, Judy Greer, Katie Mixon, Glenn Flesher, and Gideon Adlon, with Jenny Klein serving as showrunner. It's no wonder that people tuned in to the podcast. Hell, if I had listened to it, I would get addicted too, because the idea of murdering somebody over life insurance money is a tale as old as time. And what makes the story juicier is that there's a suspect rule of thumb, meaning whenever a wife or a husband gets killed, you always look into their spouse first. So this case is a cocktail of every true crime fan's hard-on. The betrayal, the drama, the intrigue, the spins, the family dynamics, the misdirections, characters who are more concerned with winning than finding the truth, and of course an underdog to cheer for. All that and more are fabulously depicted on this show that takes you into our corrupt justice system and, more importantly, Pam's twisted mind. I mentioned fast-paced earlier, and I stand by that, because the narrative doesn't waste time. It has its rhythm and it sticks to it. It's crazy watching it too, because whenever Pam changes her testimony, every little visual on the screen vibrantly changes as well in a split second. So I'm not sure whether to be angry at her or to be impressed by her level of confidence. Her stories might have holes in them, and you can tell when her nervousness kicks in, but she can immediately wiggle her way out of it. Okay, The Thing About Pam does not put the investigators and the prosecutors in a good light. This show is definitely designed to appease the fans who had always pointed the finger at them. But a devil's advocate might argue that these law enforcement guys had tunnel vision. They're so laser focused on just one guy that they couldn't and even wouldn't consider the possibility of another theory. I admit, that does make these specific characters a bit one-dimensional, almost to the point of cartoony villains. But yeah, sometimes a crime can be so gruesome and outrageous you say, wow, that sounds like something straight out of Hollywood. Well, that's exactly what The Thing About Pam has successfully done. It pulls you into this vortex of deception, resentment, and sociopathic tendencies that are so wild this could not have possibly happened, right? Oh, but it certainly did.